Isolation ain't something you choose because you're weak. It's something that happens when you get serious about where you're going. When the vision get clear, the noise automatically fade out. That's just how the game works. Purpose don't come with a crowd. Purpose come with responsibility, pressure, and long nights where it's just you and your thoughts. And most people ain't built for that part. Everybody say they want success, but very few people are willing to sit alone and earn it. Isolation is where the discipline gets forged. No applause, no validation, just consistency. Just showing up when nobody watching. That's the price. And if you're really about this life, you pay it without complaining. When you start moving different, people feel it before they understand it. You don't talk the same. You don't laugh at the same jokes. You don't waste time the same way. And instead of asking what changed, they start distancing themselves. Not because you did something wrong, but because your focus make them uncomfortable. Your growth shine a light on their stagnation. Isolation teach you who you really are. When there's nobody around to clap, you find out if you're still willing to work. When there's nobody to blame, you take full accountability. That's when you stop pointing fingers and start building character. You learn how to motivate yourself. You learn how to push through doubt without somebody hyping you up. That's real strength. A lot of people confuse loneliness with isolation. Loneliness comes from needing people. Isolation comes from needing results. There's a big difference. Isolation is intentional. It's you choosing the long road because you understand shortcuts don't last. You'd rather be misunderstood now than broke later. You'd rather be quiet now than explaining yourself forever. Purpose demands sacrifices people don't see, missed parties, missed calls, missed moments, not because you don't care, but because you care about the future more than the temporary. And the crazy part is, the same people who disappeared during your grind be the first ones celebrating when you win. That's why isolation sharpen your awareness. It teach you who really solid and who just around for entertainment. When you isolating, your mind get louder. All the excuses you used to hide behind start showing up. You can't run from your flaws. You either fix them or they break you. That's why most people avoid being alone. Silence expose weakness. But for somebody chasing purpose, silence is a classroom. Every mistake turn into a lesson. Every setback turn into fuel. Isolation also protects your energy. Everybody don't need access to you. Everybody don't deserve your time. When you're building something real, distractions are expensive. Wrong conversations can cost you momentum. Wrong environments can drain your hunger. So you pull back, you tighten the circle. Sometimes the circle turn into just you, and that's okay. You start realizing that peace is more valuable than popularity. That being respected by yourself matter more than being liked by others. When you isolated, you stop performing for approval. You move based on principle. You do the work even when it feel boring, even when it feel repetitive, because you understand mastery comes from repetition, not motivation. Purpose don't need an audience, but it always attract one later. The grind is lonely, but the results speak loud. Isolation is temporary, but the strength you build in that season lasts forever. When you finally step back into the world, you're different. More grounded, more disciplined, more aware. You're not easily influenced, but you already proved to yourself you can stand alone. And that's the part people don't talk about. Isolation turn you into your own foundation. You don't depend on outside validation. You don't crumble when support disappears. You already walk through the quiet. You already face yourself. So when pressure hit, you don't fold, you adjust. Isolation is the price of purpose because purpose requires focus. And focus don't survive in chaos. If you feel alone right now, don't panic. Don't beg for company. Don't water yourself down to fit spaces you outgrown. Understand that this season is shaping you for what's next. Stay locked in. Stay patient. Stay disciplined. The isolation ain't permanent, but the growth it brings, that's forever. Loneliness don't show up to break you. It show up to build you. Most people run from it, drown it out with noise, distractions, people who don't really matter. But if you're really chasing something bigger than comfort, loneliness become part of the training, not by accident, by design. When you're alone, there's nowhere to hide, no conversations to escape into, no laughter to mask the doubt, no crowd to carry your weight. It's just you and the work, and that's where discipline get real. Because discipline ain't about doing things when it feel good. It's about doing what need to be done when nobody around to see it. Loneliness strip you down to the basics. You either get up and move, or you sit still and let time pass you by. That choice repeat every day. And every time you choose progress over comfort, discipline gets stronger, not overnight, brick by brick, quietly, consistently. A lot of people only grind when they got company. They need motivation, support, someone checking in. But real discipline don't need witnesses. It operates in silence. Loneliness teach you how to be your own accountability partner, how to wake yourself up when the alarm go off, how to keep promises you made to yourself without anybody reminding you. That's a different level of strength. When you're lonely, your mind get tested, thoughts get loud, doubts start asking questions. You start wondering if it's worth it, if anybody cared, if the end result even real. And that's where discipline either collapse or level up. Because instead of reacting emotionally, you learn to move logically. You learn to show up even when motivation missing. Loneliness forces you to build structure. Routines become your company. Habits replace conversations. Goals replace entertainment. And at first it hurt because humans wired for connection. But after a while, something shifts. You start respecting yourself for the consistency. You start trusting yourself more because you see that even when it's quiet, you're still working. That trust is priceless. Loneliness also teaches patience. With nobody clapping, progress feels slow, days feel longer, the results feel distant. But discipline don't rush the process. And understand that mastery takes time. That real growth don't happen in crowds, it happens in repetition. Doing the same thing over and over until it becomes second nature. You start understanding that every lonely night is an investment. Every time you say no to distractions, you're saying yes to the future. And that perspective keeps you grounded. You stop chasing validation. You stop explaining yourself. You just work. Most people fear loneliness because it exposes their lack of direction. When there's no plan, being alone feel empty. But when you got purpose, loneliness feel focused. You got something to wake up for, something to build, something that demands your full attention. Discipline, turn that loneliness into fuel. And don't get it twisted. Loneliness don't mean bitterness. It don't mean you hate people or cut the world out forever. It means you understand timing. It means you willing to be alone now so you don't have to struggle later. It means you choosing delayed gratification over instant comfort. Loneliness also sharpens your awareness. You start seeing patterns. You recognize distractions faster. You realize how much time you used to waste trying to impress people who weren't going nowhere. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. Discipline, step in and say, protect your energy. You learn that not every call needs to be answered. Not every invite deserves a yes. Not every opinion deserves your attention. And that self-control is discipline in its purest form. Over time, loneliness stops feeling like punishment, stop feeling like preparation. You get comfortable with yourself, comfortable with silence, comfortable with the grind. And when opportunities finally show up, you're ready. Not excited, ready. Because you already did the work when it was boring. That's why disciplined people don't panic under pressure. They've been alone with pressure before, they've trained in it. They made decisions without backup. So when life tests them, they don't fold. Loneliness builds discipline because they remove all the extras, all the noise, all the excuses. What's left is either commitment or collapse. And if you stay long enough, commit long enough, discipline become part of who you are. So if you're feeling lonely right now, don't run from it, don't numb it, use it. Let it harden your habits, let it sharpen your focus. Let it teach you how to stand on your own. Because once discipline is built, you're no longer afraid of being alone. You know you can handle it, and that confidence carry you everywhere. The chosen ones don't move like everybody else. And that's the first thing people notice. Not because they're loud, not because they flashy, but because their rhythm don't match the room. While everybody chasing quick wins and shortcuts, they playing the long game. While everybody talking, they working. That difference in movement comes from understanding something most people never figure out. Time is expensive and energy even more. Chosen ones don't wake up reacting to the world. They wake up with intention. Every move got a reason behind it. They don't explain themselves much because they're not trying to convince anybody. They know who they are and where they're going, and that clarity changes how you walk, how you speak, how you decide. They're comfortable being misunderstood. In fact, they expect it because when you're moving with purpose, your choices don't always make sense to people who think in short term. You skip the party, you miss the call, you disappear for weeks, and people assume you changed, got distant, got cold. What they don't see is you building something that requires full focus. Chosen ones move different because they value solitude. not isolation out of bitterness, but isolation out of discipline. They know the loudest voices usually come from the least accomplished people, so they protect their space. They guard their mind. They don't let everybody speak into their plans. Silence become part of their strategy. They also move different with money, time, and relationships. They don't spend just to look rich. They invest to build freedom. They don't give time to conversations that don't add value. They don't hold on to relationships out of nostalgia. If something or someone don't align with the mission, they let it go without drama. That don't mean they heartless. It mean they focus. Chosen ones study while others scroll. They practice while others procrastinate. They build habits while others chase motivation. That's why their progress looks slow at first. No big announcements, no viral moments, just quiet consistency. But over time, that different movements start compounding. They don't panic when things don't happen fast. They understand delays don't mean denial. They understand pressure is part of the path. Instead of complaining, they adapt. Instead of quitting, they refine. Every setback turned into data. Every loss turned into a lesson. Chosen ones move different emotionally too. They don't let every feeling control their actions. They feel pain, but they don't sit in it. They feel doubt, but they don't let it stop them. Discipline guide them when emotions get loud. And that emotional control separate them from the crowd. They don't seek validation. Applause don't move them. Criticism don't break them. And learn early that opinions change, but results don't lie. So they let the work speak. And while others busy defending themselves, chosen ones stay busy improving themselves. People think chosen ones are lucky. That's the lazy explanation. What they don't see is the nights alone, the sacrifices, the internal battles. They don't see the discipline it takes to say no when everybody else saying yes. They don't see the self-control it takes to stay consistent without recognition. Chosen ones also move different in how they handle success. When wins come, they don't get arrogant. They get focused. They understand every level come with new responsibilities. So instead of celebrating too long, they get back to work because they know comfort can make you sloppy. And when failure hit, they don't fold. They don't broadcast it. They don't play victim. They adjust quietly and keep moving. That resilience is part of the difference. They don't stop because it's hard. They expect it to be hard. Chosen ones don't rush alignment. They patient with the process. They trust timing. They don't force connections or opportunities. They let things line up naturally. And when they do, they ready. Not surprised. Ready. That's why their presence feels solid, grounded, unshakable. They don't spend too much time alone with their thoughts, sharpening their vision, mastering their craft. They know who they are without the noise. So when the world gets loud, they don't lose themselves. Chosen ones move different because they understand this. Everybody can't go where they're going, and that's okay. They're not here to fit in. They're here to build something that lasts. And if you ever feel out of place, misunderstood, or alone in your grind, don't question it. That might just be the sign.